This is Math 3 1.4 notes. That's Math 3 Unit 1 Lesson 4. And the title is Reflections, and we're going to be reflecting our functions today across the x-axis or the y-axis. Okay, when you see this notation here with the negative sign on the out sign, the opposite of f of x, it's a reflection of the original function over the x-axis. When you see it looking like this, f of negative x, it's a reflection over the y-axis. So, original function reflected over the x-axis, original function reflected over the y-axis. Okay, I am going to do some A, graph the following equations. B, describe the reflection from the original function to the modified function. Okay. All right, number one. Number one is a linear graph. It tells us that at the top, and even if it didn't, we should recognize that it is the way it looks here. There's no square, there's no absolute value, there's no variable exponent. I'm going to go left 1, down 2. And then my slope is up 3 over 1. Up 1, 2, 3 over 1. Up 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 over 1. And connect. I'm going to make mine, I'll make it green so that you can see the original and the reflection. And I'm going to darken in those dots just a smidge because that's what I'm going to use to reflect. Okay, so when I reflect, here it's saying, here's f of x, and I want you to graph the opposite of f of x. Remember, that's over the x-axis. So right now we're reflecting over the x-axis. So I'm just going to go from points left to right. This one from the x-axis, it goes down 2. So I'm going to go back there and go up 2. Okay, this point is above the x-axis and it's 1 up, so I'm going to go 1 down. And this one is 1, 2, 3, 4 up from the x-axis. I'm going to go 4 down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this graph paper is really small. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you are going to connect. And there is your reflection across the x-axis. Okay, so the green is the original. You reflected across the, you reflected across the x-axis, this one here, and it gives you that one in pencil. Okay, part B, describe the reflection. It is reflected over the x-axis. Okay, a little harder to see with straight lines. These next few will be a little easier to see. Okay, quadratic because of the x squared. There's nothing in parentheses, so we're going down 3. We don't go right or left, but we go down 1, 2, 3. And it's not a slope, but I use it almost like a slope, but not quite because I can't do it over and over. I go down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. I know to go down because it's opening down. And then I make my downward facing parabola. And I know it's a parabola because of the x squared. Okay, now again, opposite or negative g of x is a reflective over the x-axis. So I'm going to start with this point here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. So I'm going to go 5 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because this here is the x-axis. This one is 1, 2, 3 down. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 up. 1, 2, 3 up. And this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. I'll count it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to go 5 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and make my U shape opening up. And you can see instead of going down 2 from the vertex, I did go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. Okay, so that one's a little cleaner to see. This is your original. You reflected across or over the x-axis. So let's write that down, explaining what happened. So part B, describe the reflection. We reflected over the x-axis. Okay, next one, absolute value. It tells us that, and we can see the absolute value symbols. It's left 3. There's no number on the outside, so you're not going up or down. It's simply left 3. 1, 2, 3. And it's opening down because of the negative, and that we can treat as slope. Down 1 over 1. We could do it more if we wanted to, but one set's enough. Down 1 over 1. And it is a V-shape opening downward. Okay, and again it's asking us to graph negative h of x, so we're reflecting still across or over the x-axis. So I'm going, this point's going to stay here, because if it's on the x-axis and you reflect over the x-axis, it stays. This one's down 1, so it's going to be up 1. This one's also down 1, so it's going to be up 1, and it's going to be upward like that. Okay. Alrighty, oh, and again we reflected over the x-axis. Alright, next one. This one's tricky. This is the exponential one, so this is where I start at 0, 1. I'm going to put a light pencil mark there and I will erase it. I'm going to translate right 3 up 1. Right 3 up 1 from 0, 1. Right 1, 2, 3 up 1. That is my new start. I'm going to erase that one there. Again, from 0, 1, I went right 1, 2, 3 and up 1. I always go down 1 for my asymptote. And then from that dotted line, I go up 2, because that's a 2, up 2 over 1. I cannot do it again because it's not linear, it's curvy. So it looks like that. Okay, I am going to darken in those 2 points and put my graph in color, and then I'm going to reflect the dotted line as well as the 2 points and the graph. Okay, the asymptote is 1 up from the x-axis, so 1 down would be right here at negative 1. The start point is 1, 2 up, so I'm going to go 1, 2 down. That second point from the x-axis is 1, 2, 3 up, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 down and make my graph. And you can see if you were to fold your graph on the x-axis, it would be a mirror image. Not quite because we're hand drawing, but if you had a graphing calculator and plugged them in, it would work. Okay, I am going to move on. Next ones, f of negative x, g of negative x, h of negative x, and j of negative x. It's reflecting across the y-axis. All right. I am going to do one of them with you, and then you can do the others on your own. I may do 2, and then we'll finish them up. We'll check them in class. Okay, here, you're going to go left 2 and no up or down movement. So let's do that. Left 2, no up or down movement. And it is a parabola. It's opening up because it's positive, and that number in the front's 1, so up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, and make your U shape. And now we're reflecting over the y-axis because it's g of negative x, and when the negative's on the inside, it's over the y-axis. Okay, so 1, 2 to the left, 1, 2 to the right. 1, 2, 3 to the left, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 to the right. This one is 1 away, so I'm going to go 1 away in the opposite direction. So I just flipped across, flipped over, and make my function, my graph. And it is reflected over the y-axis. And you can try these 3 on your own, and then we'll check them together in class. I'm going to flip over to the back side. All right. Given f of x below, graph the following and state their domain and ranges. Okay, how do I do this? Graph the following, state the domain and ranges. First off, what's the domain and range of the original function? So ignoring these down here, of this original function, domain is a set of all x values, and it has dots, not arrows. So it starts at -5. It doesn't go any further left than -5, and it stops at 3. It does not go any further to the right from +3. So -5 is the start, 3 is the end, and there's brackets because the circles are closed. Range. From the bottom up, there's nothing down here. It starts at its lowest point, which is 1, 2, 3, -4, and it's brackets because it's closed in. The graph does not go up forever. It stops at the 0, and it's boxed in again, or brackets because it's closed. Okay, what I would suggest is label all those points because we're going to be reflecting them, translating them. So this first one is -5, 1, 2, -3. -5, -3. This one is -2, 0. This one is 0, -2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, -4. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, -3. All right. Now this one's asking us to translate the f function, which is this one here. This is the f of x function, to translate it right 3 and up 4. We know that because inside the parentheses is right left, outside is up down. It's still working the same way as we've been doing it before. It just looks a little wonky. So inside is the opposite, right left, outside stays the same, up down. So right 3, up 4. So you can put a little note here if that helps. Right 3, up 4. So I go to the -5, -3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. And I'm just going to, from here, go right 3, up 4. 1, 2, 3, up 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my first dot. Okay, my second dot, which is -2, 0, I'm going to go right 3, 1, 2, 3, up 1, 2, 3, 4. And that connection is a straight line. Okay, my third point is 0, -2. And I'm going to go right 3, 1, 2, 3, and up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that connection is a curvy piece. It's not a straight line, so I'm going to curve. Whew. And then my 1, 2, 3, 4th piece is 2, -4. And from here I'm going to go right 3 and up 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm connecting these two dots, and that's a straight line. Everything's pretty much a straight line except for this curvy piece right here. Okay, so this here was a straight line. And then the last one, if it helps, you could make this a little more curvy so it's a little more noticeable, but that is curvy. Okay, and then the last one is 3, -3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go right 3, up 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's also a little line there. And you can see it just, this graph here just went right up. Domain, it starts at -2 with a bracket, comma, it ends at, is that 6 with a bracket. Range, it starts at 0 with a bracket, and it goes up and stops at 1, 2, 3, 4 with a bracket. Okay, let's do this one, and then these two at the bottom you can do on your own. Okay, here we're going to start, and I want you to, okay, we're going to do negative f of x. The negative on the outside is reflected over the x-axis. I'm going to put a little note here. I'm going to put a little note x-axis just so I know that's what I'm reflecting over. Okay, so -5, -3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. I'm always using the original. If I'm reflecting over the x-axis, I'll put this point really light. 1, 2, 3 down. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 up. I'll erase that point there. Okay, -2, 0. I said earlier, if it's on the x-axis and you're reflecting on the x-axis, it's going to stay. And where are we at? Here, that part's a straight line. Okay, next one is 0, -2. And that is 2 away from the x-axis, so I go 2 away in the other direction. And this part here is a curvy part. So if I here and then I flip it up, it would be like this. Can you see that? If I flipped this up, that curve would be like this. Okay, and next piece is 2, -4. That's 4 away from the x-axis and now in the opposite direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's back to a straight line. And the last one is 3, -3. So I'm going to go, I went 3 down from the x-axis. I'm going to go 3 up. 1, 2, 3. Now if you can imagine this graph flipping across the x-axis, that's what it would look like. Okay, domain is -5, 2, 1, 2, 3, brackets. And right at the top of this page, I'm going to have you put a nice smiley face right up here anywhere. A nice smiley face, big enough for me to see. Okay, your range is 0 to 4. Brackets and everything because everything was closed. All right, -5 to 3, 0 to 4. Okay, we're going to finish this in class, so you'll turn it in after we finish in class. That is it for now.